Hey guys, today I'm doing a little different type of episode. It is right after Christmas. Today is the 26th. I don't know why I had to check my watch for that. Sorry about the camera angle. But yeah, I'm out in the shop and I managed to get a PWM, which is pulse width modulation guitar effect kit. The maker of the kit is Jameco. It is Circuit Skills 2121092. They package a lot of the stuff, but you don't need every single piece here. It's supposed to be a lot simpler. Pins for labeling things and drawing on the diagrams and all that. Let's see. The LM386N-1, the amp audio power, it's a low, is the top one there. It's top IC. And the Hex Smith DIP14 is right there, and then their respective carriages. I know that's not the right term, but you know. Don't know why I'm holding that full size. We have some 2Ns. Let's see. These guys, which are 2N 3904R transistors. Let's see. Of course, they have a part number with Jameco Electronics, and then the rest of that stuff. Oh, and Jameco gave their, here's the prototype builder board, but Jameco has their number printed on it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Jameco logo. But their number is, for business purposes, area code 653-592-8097. Don't really know if you'll need that or not. Kind of doubt it. Of course, their website is jamecoelectronic.com. You can Google it, Bing, Yahoo, whatever. Let's see. Okay, the two sides. Oh, they're talking about that. The sockets for the ICs. The diode. Of course, the three types of capacitors or radial capacitors. There's a 22 UF, micro, whatever, 50 volt, 20%, 85C, yada yada yada. And those are, where are the 22? These guys. And these are the 2.2s. And then these are the 100s. Resistors. You only need one of each of these, but I thought it was nice they gave you a full list. They've got a 37K ohm and a 33K ohm, and that's these guys here. 100 pack of each, which is real nice. Battery snap. They had two different input and outputs, and I had to go back and watch Colin Cunningham's video on this, which is how I found the project in the first place. But one of them is a single prong, and by prong I mean the bit right there that hangs down and will contact your guitar cable, and then the other is a double, and it is the 12B, which I'm supposing that has to do with like a stereo or something like that. This is the film stack, which is how you get some of the effect done to that bit. Oh, here's the diodes. Don't know why I overlooked them, but yeah. They are 1N4001 1A 5 volt. Then we have all of our potentiometers, which are an A100K, B10K, and a B100 or B500K. My bad. And I'm using the Radio Shack electronic tool set for my soldering iron and some of my other tools. I think it's safe for me to have that out right there. Oh, and I didn't even tell you about the pins. The double prong is the input, and the single is the output. Those are the audio jacks. All the stuff can be gotten off the Jameco site. They have an extension for the video, Colin Cunningham's video, and then Colin Cunningham has a link to the MakeMagazine blog on this project. I am going to start unpackaging stuff. The ICs I'll save probably, and just take their positioning. Get everything over here right next to the hot soldering iron, which is a great idea. I'm also using rosin core solder, probably not the best idea, but here it is, and it's wonderful glory. My parts boxes elsewhere, and then I have this wonderful set of wires that I have found in different things or have left over from other projects. This is actually my second guitar effect to build. Here is the first printout of the project. This is in the Circuit Skills video series, PWM. It's Tim Escobedo's Circuit Snippets collection. He made, this is a guitar effect. And then Colin came back and took out the DPDT stomp switch and put in an LFO. No idea what that is. Anyway, he took this, which is the one that Tim put up, and then made another version, which is, I showed you wrong. It's this, and he replaces the Schmidt trigger with its component parts, which are right here, and I just labeled them out here. And you've got your 38.6N chip right there, input, output, and all that. Got the off-board components shown on it, which is why I'm hiding it under here. And I have gone back and labeled some things in red ink, just to make sure I have clarity when I'm doing it. I'm going to mainly use this just because I prefer the visual. I have no training whatsoever in circuitry, and this is the knife, if you've been watching my previous videos, that I managed to cut myself in the hand with. As you can see, it's still quite sharp. So here's a perf board. My other was a Fuzzbox distortion pedal, which mostly works. I'm not going to say completely works, because that would be lying, and I don't advocate that. Alright, after some odd soldering, not the best job, but you know, hey. I'd like to point out something. I'm going to do this, and I just want to make it clear. Here what it says is just bridging right here from, I think it's 1 to 8, pin 1 to 8 right there. I'm just going to go, I think I'll use this piece. It's solid core. It'll make a good jumper. So yes, I'm back. I have put on the power cable, put in the diode. Focus. Yes. Alright, and put in another busing right there. From pin 5 on this one to pin 1 on this one. In the reverse. Yes. Red right here will go up to the negative on the diode, which is right under my pointer finger because you can't see. And then you take the positive end, which is this long wire, you take the positive lead from the diode and bus it, excuse me, you bus it to this pin. I took a piece of the negative end of the diode and put it there with a pair of pliers and had pre-tinned the contacts. And here, as you can see, I've just bent it, and then you just connect it there. So that's about where I am. Alrighty, well, after an afternoon and a little bit of extra work, I'm currently, here's my fume extractor homemade. I can put a link to that in the video. I have got the battery leads on this capacitor, 22, right there. Should be pretty obvious. I mean, got the bus, another bus. I don't have the ICs in their sockets for heat reasons, don't want to mess them up. Got this lined in with the capacitor and into the proper channels. I got the negative end of the capacitor. This is fun. It's a mess, but you might can see it here. I use the negative lead to go around this lead and then hook back over to this one before I cropped it. And this is, of course, the diodes cathode resistors bit there. And I have a number of bits that I need to trim. Most of them end up going to ground anyway. So I have all the onboard except for a few jumps that I have to make done by now, as of this morning / last night late. Got all the power buses and every pin off of the ICs except for these two, which are a negative lead and a jump to the input, which will come through here. Next, I'm going to have to, I've already brought a jump down so I can get all the offboard stuff in one shot pretty much for each piece. I'm going to have to make jumps for these because I didn't look closely and see that the strip was on this side and not the other side, which is where I need it. I mean, I could modify it and go with that, but I really don't want to take a chance on my modification skills because I lack them heavily. Yeah. So now I still need to look up the wiring for the input since it's a double prong, but the output will be okay, and I'll probably end up doing that today. Well, got all the offboard components soldered on. I would like to make a note, a quick note. All of these, one would assume they're from the top down. According to the video, they aren't. If you look at the placement of the wires, they're a little off, and then you realize that got something wrong. Anyway, but yeah, these are from the bottom up instead of the top up. So if you're looking down on it, just flip it over. The input. If you're looking at the input, which is this one, it's left, like, this is really technically from the inside of the case because this would be on the outside. But when you're looking at it like this, this wire goes to the lead on the other jack, the output, right here. And then the middle, of course, well, I say of course, but the middle goes to power. And then, like, the diagram's really weird, but the middle goes to the power, the ground, and then the one on the right goes to the third pin, which I have a little lead hooked up. And then here it all is. Oh, almost forgot to pop in the ICs. Yeah. Oh, it's coming at you. Anyway, so, and it is important, of course, to get them facing in the right direction. On the diagram, there's a circle and a dot, which is on both of the ICs themselves. And I, to mark that, I put the carriages in with the little dip facing the way that the dip on the bit would go. So on the IC would go. Sorry. Slacking from technical language. And of course you want to be really gentle with these. I'm having to bend the pins in just a tad so that they will go in, and bump this one a little bit. Alright, that one is in. Sorry if it's going weird on you over there. And now for the other IC, which if you've ever wanted to see the inside of one of these, it's not very pretty. Let's see if I can. Okay, got one side. Use this little tool to position the rest of them. It's not entirely working. Because with lots of pins comes lots of responsibility. For those of you that just wondered, yes, that is an original. Okay. This is not wanting to work right. In case you've noticed while waiting for me to do this, I have put heat shrink tubing on certain bits, and that's just for my own convenience mainly. And it's not required. I just decided to do it for the sake of convenience, and partially just for the sake of actually using some heat shrink, which I recommend you use a heat gun for if you decide to use heat shrink. Again, be gentle, or as gentle as the project allows you to be. And just to test that, I have used the Electrotech lots when not on camera. So, alright, just had to make sure it connected. And I'm about to go test it, and I will show you that here in a minute. Well, I got it all in. Last night I checked it some. Forgive the room, this is just the computer room. I did my wiring last night, like I said, and I'm going to be using my Marshall MG30FX amp. It's a nice amp. It's one I normally use to play. And my Squire Cherry Sunburst Strat, and I got a DiMarzio Hot Track 2 as my bridge pickup. And the rest are all standards, and Ernie Ball Super Slinks as my strings, in case y'all are wondering. And that's my phone. So, powering up the effect. Let me go ahead and unravel this cord a little bit so it doesn't pull off the effect. I'm just using a 1-foot jumper that I usually use for my effects as my connection to the effect. I'm trying to kind of spread it out so it doesn't do any jumping onto the board. Let's see what setting do I have it on. Ooh, yay. I'm going to put it on a clean. That's not good. Well, turn that down, turn that gain down. I don't know why it's doing that, honestly. But, so, we have a lot of power behind this, obviously, so I'm going to have to turn way down. potentiometer, the A100K, and the right one, the B10K, are your, when it's doing the pulse wave, are your high and your low sets, and the left one, or the B100K, is the rate or the frequency, as you can probably hear. So yeah, this could take a bit of debugging to get it to work right, but by no means am I professional at soldering and all that, so it could just be my job. I forgot to demo what it sounds like just with the guitar and the amp on clean, which is way down because that is way up. And the hot track is pretty fun. And the amp itself is pretty fun to mess with. As you can tell, I'm doing a lot of this just off the top of my head, and I have no real schedule behind my videos, which may contribute to put it on low overdrive. Obviously I'm just doing a spoof over version, and just to be stupid.